Hey guys, it's Jeremy here at Metal Music Meltdown, back with another video. What I have for today, guys, is my top 10 albums of 2023, well, so far. I wanted to compile a list. We're pretty much right at the middle point. It's June the 3rd, so I just wanted to kind of compile a list of what my top 10 would be as of right now. I didn't put too much thought into it. I just kind of went with what I've been listening to in the highest rotation. And let's jump right in, guys. I don't want the video to be too long. First, to start with some quick honorable mentions. The biggest one would be Metallica, 72 Seasons. Didn't make my list, might surprise some people, but the more I listened to this album, it just sounded kind of the same, kind of uninspired, to be honest with you. It's nothing I haven't heard from Metallica in recent years, and I just haven't been listening to it as much as I thought I would. Another honorable mention would be the new Haunt album, Golden Arms, I think it's called. Really solid hard rock album. They never disappoint, put out solid stuff every time. The new Enslaved album was really solid as well. Really enjoyed that one. Didn't quite make the list, but with a few more listens, I think it might slowly creep up over time. There were some other ones as well, but I can't remember off the top of my head. I didn't write them all down. But let's jump right in, guys, to my top 10. So at number 10, I have the local band to me, Invicta, from Kitchener, Ontario. Killer band, melodic thrash metal. This is only their second full length, entitled Triumph and Torment. Really solid album. Shout out to Mark, who was able to pick up a copy for me from the band directly for a little bit cheaper. Really solid album. I've been liking it since I picked it up or got a copy, and really solid stuff. At number 9, I went with the new Catatonia album, Sky Void of Stars. Really good artwork on this one again. Love these guys. That really depressive atmospheric metal. They never disappoint. Every time they have their new album, they pretty much make my list. One of my favorite bands of all time. At number 8, I have the new Insomnium album, another killer band. This is their 9th studio album from the Finnish melodic death metalers. It's called Anno 1696. Really sick artwork again, really good stuff. Just some really good melodic death metal. Love his vocals, great arrangements, great songwriting as well. Definitely check these guys out. They should be bigger in my opinion than they are. They're pretty popular, but they should be a lot bigger in my opinion. At number 7, I have the new In Flames album called Foregone. Really enjoyed this album. Kind of a comeback to form for their older stuff, a little bit more raw sound, like their older material. I'm one of the few people who really like this band's newer stuff still. A lot of people don't like it, but I love everything in their catalog, to be honest. But this is a really solid album. Been listening to it pretty steadily since it came out. At number 6, I have the new Obituary album. Just some killer old school death metal, Dying of Everything. Really cool artwork. And this came out in January. I think this is one of the first albums that came out that I wanted to pick up. And I've been listening to it pretty much all year. Just some really raw, old school death metal. Love the growls, love the instrumentation. Great chunky riffs, nothing to disappoint in this. I wouldn't be surprised if this made my year-end list. It's been a high rotation for me. At number 5, 5 or 6? 5, sorry. 5, I have another kind of local band to me, Raider. They're from Kitchener-Waterloo area, kind of a thrash death metal band. Really killer stuff. This is their second album. It's entitled Trialed by Chaos. Really good stuff. If you're not familiar with these guys, definitely check them out on Bandcamp or on YouTube. Their first album, Guardian of the Fire, was a killer debut. Really, really good album. And the new one didn't disappoint as well. It's probably even stronger. Definitely check these guys out if you're not familiar with them. At number 4, I have the New Jersey Thrashers, Overkill. This came out the same day as Metallica, and in my opinion, it blew the Metallica record out of the water. Just some balls out of thrash metal. These guys never disappoint. Always put out strong material. Really, really good stuff. Title track was killer. Going Home, Twist of the Wick. Just everything on this album, top to bottom, I really enjoyed it. And they just never disappoint. Boys love Overkill. These top 3 are easily the ones I've been listening to the most, like almost on a daily basis, to be honest. Number 3, I have Kalma, the comeback kid from melodic death metalers from Finland again. I'm a big fan of melodic death metal, and their new album is just the self-titled. It's their first album in the last 5 years, so I was really pumped to see they had a new album come out. It came out more recently, but it's been in such a high rotation for me, and they're just like the masters of like making epic like melodic death metal. It's hard to explain how they create that sound, but it's just pure epic, like going to war, great guttural vocals, killer riffs, great songwriting. But it's just the only way I can describe them is just brutal epicness. Love this band. I don't have all their stuff yet, but I have about 80% of it. I think there's 1 or 2 of their albums I still have to pick up. But freaking Kalma, if you're not familiar with these guys, definitely check out this album. It's fucking killer. And number 2, I have from the UK, Hell Ripper, the one-man kind of speed black metal project. This is his 3rd full length in total. Every album of his is really killer. This is the follow-up to his 2020, The Affair of the Poisons, which was one of my favorite albums of that year. And the new one's called Warlocks, Grim and Withered Hags. Just another really great album from this guy. He's a younger guy, really hardworking, puts out killer material. I'm not big into black metal, but I really like the black and speed metal sound. Kind of has a more of a thrashy sound to me. And this album didn't disappoint. Really solid stuff. Definitely check it out. And number 1, I have to put Enforced, new one, War Remains, their 3rd full length. This album's just been kicking my ass every day since it came out. I can't stop listening to it. And this will be definitely my top 5 at the end of the year, no questions asked. So will a couple of these other ones, I'm sure, but this album is the easy front runner for number 1 at the moment. I don't think anything's coming out that might tip it off, but we'll see what happens. So that's my list, guys. List down below what you thought of the list, and give your thoughts of what you've liked so far this year. And just some quick albums I'm looking forward to. Got announced the new Crypta album, their sophomore album. Should be really good. It's kind of an all-female band from Brazil. They made up 3/4 of the original Novrosa. So I'm looking forward to that one. They got announced recently. There's a new Silosis album, which should be really killer. That should make my list probably by the end of the year. The first 2 singles have been killer. Love that band. I was really pumped to just recently hear they announced a new album. So I'm definitely looking forward to that one as well. And Evil has a new album coming out called The Unknown. That comes out next month, I think, or this month. Should be another good album. It sounds pretty solid. It's what I've heard so far. Very different. So I'm kind of interested to see how the rest of the album sounds. And just trying to think if there's anything else. Cataclysm has a new album coming out called Goliath. That'll be a monster record. First single I've heard was fucking killer. I love Cataclysm. Really pumped for that record as well. Should be really, really good. Good chance of making my year evangelist. That's coming out in August as well. But yeah, that's pretty much it for now, guys. Let me know down below what you thought, and if there's any albums you're waiting to come out by the end of the year. There might be some albums I missed possibly. I know there's some honorable mentions I missed from earlier in the year. I was just kind of drawing a blank. I couldn't remember kind of off the top of my head. But that's it for now, guys. Stay tuned for the next video, and keep it metal.